What really obvious thing have you only just realized? This wasn't super recent, but it was a mind-blowing moment for me. About 7 years ago my friend got me a pair of these Shure earphones for Christmas. I felt they were okay earphones, not the best, but they pretty good sound quality and decent noise cancellation. 2 years ago we took a bus up to Minnesota to visit a friend for a few days. We chose the late bus, so we could just sleep during the 8 hours it would take us to get there. We are getting settled, and I see him pull out his earphones, which were the same as mine, and put them on like this over the ear. I never wore them like that. I just kind of jammed them in a way they fit, a bit like how you see here. I asked him about wearing them like that and he said, "What do you mean? That's how you're supposed to wear them. How do you wear them?" I showed him how I typically wore them, and he laughed and said, "Wearing them the right way gets a better seal for the sound." I still wore them my way, until he fell asleep, and then I decided to give his way a chance. Holy shit, it made such a huge difference. The sound was better, they felt more comfortable, and they were so much better at cancelling out noise. When we got to the first stop I told him, "Why the hell didn't you tell me I was wearing them wrong for so many years? This is so much better." He told me I should have read the manual, but in my defense I didn't think I had to read the manual for a pair of earbuds. Edit. For those of you wondering, he works for Shure, so he didn't pay full price for them. For a long time I thought to bust a nut meant that you were going to kick a guy in the balls or beat him up. So anytime I was getting worked up or angry talking about some guy I would say I'm going to bust his fucking nut, not knowing the real meaning. Nobody ever said anything, but it was always followed by my friends laughing, so I assumed it was because I was being dramatic. Years go by and my coworker is telling me about some rude person he met, and I said, "You should definitely bust that guy's nut," to which he paused and said, "Do you even know what that means?" Suffice it to say I was extremely embarrassed and horrified when he explained it to me. Edit. Oh wow, thank you for the silver. Glad my first silver had to do with busting a nut. Peas. For those who are asking, to bust a nut, where I'm from, means to ejaculate everywhere, or jerk someone else off. Edit 2. Gold? Wowee. I'm glad this made people laugh. Feeling much better knowing a lot of other folks made similar mistakes. Ahaha. Not just now, but I think it applies. I'm currently in my mid-30s. I didn't realize, until I was about 28 years old, that my mom's name was Betty and her sister's name was Wilma. Betty and Wilma. From the Flintstones. And yes, they were definitely named after the cartoon. I asked. Flash forward 2 years later, my aunt Wilma informed me that they were fraternal twins. Again, another thing for 30 years I had not known. Edit. A few folks have asked for a bit of context on the twin thing. My mom died when I was fairly going, so I never had her birthday as a thing. I wasn't super close to Wilma, so I wasn't really celebrating hers either. I guess it was just known in my family, so nobody ever mentioned it until totally randomly she said something about it. On the name thing, they actually both went by nicknames their whole lives, so I never even thought of them as Betty and Wilma, but just Mom and Aunt Cookie. She likes to bake. Most people finance their weddings, and those that don't have mom and dad pick up the bill. I was having a conversation with my fiance about this as we were beginning preliminary planning for our own wedding, and I got honest to goodness flustered at how difficult and expensive throwing a wedding is. We make good money for our age and our part of the country. We bought a home and are hosting in our backyard. We limited it 50 guests, and our estimates still came out to several $1,000s. We don't want to DIY *EVERYTHING*. Incredulous, I just asked her, "What about Din's wedding? Sarah's wedding? Mackenzie's wedding? Hell, what about your brother's wedding?" We are doing just as well, if not considerably better than any of them financially, and we own our own venue. Why is this so hard? How on earth could any of them afford to get married and have weddings? Confused, she broke it down point by point. Neither Dan nor her brother paid for their weddings. Their parents did. Mackenzie and Sarah went into debt and are paying hefty monthly payments on their own weddings. I was stunned. I didn't even know that was an option. Unlike my fiance, I've been financially independent since age 18, so the idea of a parental handout in wedding form is something I never would have even considered. Plus, I was raised by a frugal father who drilled it into our heads that the only thing you should ever finance is a house. I swear every year I'll earn a laundry list of new things that everybody finances that I assumed you needed to pay cash for. Home renovations, auto repairs, vacations, tires, appliances, etc. Meanwhile, I don't even use a credit card. The fact that people sign up for years of hefty payments in order to throw weddings gives me a palpable sense of vicarious anxiety. Christ. Seriously. If you can't pay for it out of pocket, you can't afford it. It boggles my mind. If you're experienced, truly capable, and working toward always getting better, then it's very likely that the things that just never make sense and seem harmful or ineffective at best are things you may know better. You should say something. A difficult part of starting at the bottom and working up is that for a very long time you don't know shit. There comes a point where you must start contributing to how the whole thing works. That's all everyone else is doing. If you stay quiet and just keep working around the silly stuff, you trap yourself within the parameters of a group that you could very well contribute to. Despite the perceived confidence in so many action plans, they might really need your help. You aren't just complaining. If you see problems and have possible solutions, it seems obvious once your voice is heard and you see that the other elevated positions are filled by regular human people. But you have to realize that you're not the rookie peon you came in as. Your knowledge and wisdom can really make a huge difference for a group of folks that work toward the same goal. The entire world is ran by normal ass people. My grandpa used to ask me when I was a kid if I could talk without moving my lips. Being a dumbass kid, I would always give it my best effort and thought I was pretty good at it. 20 years later I realized the old bugger was just telling me to shut the fuck up, haha. Too bad I can't let him know I finally figured it out. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. I'm glad this hopefully got a chuckle out of some you. I know it always gave him a grin when I failed to figure it out. Have a great night everybody. Edit 2. Well, I'll be damned. First silver and gold, it's almost like Rudolph is playing. Bad holiday dad joke. Thanks you guys. I'm glad that it's this post that got some love.